Northeast State Community College must slash 12% of its budget for the year. And tonight we've learned those millions of dollars in cuts will impact jobs.
The college announced today it will reduce roughly $5 million. More than $2 million of that spending decrease will impact employees. Carissa Winstead has been following developments and efforts to balance the budget at Northeast State since January. Carissa, today you learned these cuts will result in people losing their jobs, right?
Yeah, that's right, Nate. These cuts come 6 months after the college cut 4 jobs in January and did not fill 13 vacant jobs. Now the college is having to cut roughly $5 million out of its budget this year, which will soon leave an undetermined amount of employees without a job. Interim president at Northeast State Community College, James King, is having to clean up quite a mess following Dr. Janice Gillum's retirement last month.
I think what I'm looking at more than anything is the best way to describe what we're doing. We're right-sizing.
King says over the past few years, expenses have exceeded revenues. One of the reasons, there were too many faculty members and enrollment has been overprojected for 4 or 5 years.
Instead of realigning back the faculty and staff, we dipped into reserves.
He says another reason for the budget issue, more off-campus sites, including one in downtown Johnson City, were opened.
Do you think too much was built too quickly?
I have to admit, yes. I think we moved too quickly without having the adequate funds to cover it.
Now Northeast State is having to cut roughly $5 million from its budget. $2.8 million has already been cut out of the operating, travel, and equipment budgets. The other approximately $2.2 million will impact employees. Just how many employees is still undetermined. He says a decision will be made soon.
It depends on the salaries of the individuals. It takes a lot of people in lower salaries, less people in higher salaries. So we're looking at everything.
King says right now students will not be impacted, and Student Government Association President Cooper McCoy says he's optimistic for the future.
Even if we have to make these cuts that aren't necessarily desirable, I feel like it's the best thing to do moving forward for the better of all students on the campus.
King says off-campus sites will remain open for now, but he says he can't rule out one of them being closed later on.
I'm not going to sit here and say no. I'm going to say we're going to look at every one.
This comes on the heels of a vote of no confidence against former President Dr. Janice Gillum and her recent retirement. He says there were certain indications that she knew about the budget situation that the school was in.
Do you think this was Janice Gillum's fault?
It's just a series of bad decisions by a lot of parties, probably.
In Blunteville, Carissa Winstead, News Channel 11, in your corner.
Carissa also reached out to the Faculty Senate. It told us in part, quote, "The Faculty Senate is saddened to learn about impending personnel losses, yet we understand this is necessary to the institution's stability," end quote.